Well, good evening, everybody. This is Susan for SLC Aquatics coming to you live tonight on this Tuesday evening. And I have a very special guest that will be with me tonight. And her name is Dena from Everything Aquatic. And at this time, I'd like to invite her up to the show. Dena, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. There she be.
Hello.
I'm glad you got something to wet your whistle, too.
Yes, ma'am.
Got a little bit of echo there, so if you could turn your speakers down just a little bit, I want
Sure.
you to be able to still hear me. We
We'll try
had
that.
Mystery Snail Guardians that was signed in at 5:37, and we got an audience growing. We've got Fish Mania Chattanooga. That's Ethan. That was my special guest last Thursday. Hi, Ethan. How are you doing tonight? I've got Dena here with me because I don't know if she knows how much she means to me. But when I found her food products, I believe we met in a Facebook group,
I
um,
think you're right there.
something about guppies. I can't remember. And I know Crystal Henster's there, and
Hmm.
I can't remember some of the other folks that hang out in that group. But that's where I met Dena. And Dena, I think, started helping me with medicated flakes because I was having problems with camellanus worms with my guppies. And
Hmm.
so I treated them with lavamisol. Is it lamamisol?
Levamisol.
Lafamisol. Okay, teach me how to say it.
I
Lafamisol.
learned myself along the way. Thank you.
And I was still having bloating. My females were pregnant but not giving birth. And you told me that once the worm is killed, they need help passing the dead worm sometimes, and it causes an internal bacterial infection. And so they would die before they gave birth. And I started feeding them some of your medicated flakes. And at that time, I don't know if it was the dual or the quad, but
Probably the quad with camelina worms because the duo won't treat it.
okay. And it's been 5 years now, thank God. I have not had any of the internal parasites. And
Yay.
because when they start showing a little stringy poo, sometimes I go ahead and put them on a 2-week regimen of the medicated flakes
Hmm.
just to help clean their guts out a little bit. Are
Certainly.
you hearing me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, at this time, I want to say hi to Mike's Aquatics and Things. And Mystery Snail Guardian says, I have won a giveaway from Everything Aquatics before.
Yeah, I've done several giveaways through multiple groups in the past. Haven't done any this year, though. I don't think, anyways.
Well, at this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dena. And I have asked her to give a little history of herself. And if you go ahead and do that, I'll shrink myself and put you up here.
Okay, well, Susan was asking how I got started in the hobby and how it turned into this business I have now. I've been keeping fish since I was 4 or 5 years old when I won a goldfish at one of the school fairs one year. Of course, that poor guy didn't live more than a couple of weeks because I had no clue what I was doing and too young to understand how to care for a fish. And trial and error over the years, and I've had tanks constantly since I got divorced. That was my present to myself, was a 90-gallon fish tank. And I since then I grew into breeding fish and different kinds of fish. And then I personally over the years ran into fish disease and started losing everything because I didn't know what to do. So I started doing a lot of research and found that a lot of the products on the market had so much filler in it that the medication was almost worthless in some cases. And so then I started researching what it would take to use medicated food, and I've been able to source pure medications for fish. And this business just grew out of what I was learning along my path. And since I figured out how to make medicated foods, and other people say, well, if you can do that, will you make some for me? And will you make some with this medication? Will you make some with that medication? I need antibiotic. I need anti-parasite. And the business just grew naturally like that. I didn't intend for this to become a business. And when I first started business-wise, I was actually breeding angelfish and selling them. So it started out as fish focused, not food focused. And then I had a little catastrophe in my fish room and lost all my breeding fish, including my expensive ones. And I was so disgusted, I just tore down all the tanks. And I'm like, I'm done with breeding. I need a break. And that's when the food started kicking in. And then people started asking me, well, if you're making this medicated food, what are you using as the base food? And can I get just the base food? And so I started, again, through customers asking, I want algae pellets. I want a good quality flake. I need a good quality veggie product. I need this. I need that. And that's how this business has grown. And here we are today.
Congratulations to you. How many years has it been?
The business officially started in February of 2012, so almost 10 years. And I've been living off of it for about 5 years now, I believe.
It is supporting you now?
Barely. I'm losing money month to month right now because the business slowed down with all the cutbacks over COVID. And just like the last order I got out of Borneo with all the new botanicals, just shipping, and it wasn't that big of an order, but just shipping cost me $550.
Oh.
And it took 8 months to get from Borneo to here. It's unreal. The costs have skyrocketed. Just medications themselves, what used to cost me at a wholesale price of $200, today will cost me anywhere from $650 to $800 for the same product. And I can't swallow those kinds of jumps in price. So every time I get new product in, I have to reevaluate my pricing and adjust accordingly. And if ever there's a chance I can lower the price, I always do that, of course.
Well, I don't do a lot of shopping anywhere else for food. You know, I remember going into our box stores and, you know, picking up flakes and stuff like that and thinking that a little container like this was just outrageously priced to me. You know, sometimes it would be 10 to 12 bucks and I'm like, that's just ridiculous. I mean, that's only going to feed for a week, you know, I'm going to have to go back. But when I saw your product and even the way you package it in those metallic bags,
Mylar bags, yep.
And to me, your prices are well below the value of what I'm getting out of that fish food, you know. And if y'all have never bought any of her algae wafers, everything in my aquarium loves those algae wafers, from a guppy to a snail. And
it's not a carnivore, it'll eat those things.
Right. And even some of my carnivores do. And,
really?
Yeah. The yo-yo loaches, they love them. If I don't have any rapashi to feed them or any snails to throw over there in the tank, they are enjoying those algae wafers.
Wow. I know when I feed my silver dollars, they fight over them and they'll catch one in their mouth and they zip and run around and chase each other because they all want the same pellet, the same wafer. It's funny watching how they act.
Well, Dena, I want you to meet Ethan at Fish Mania, Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's a new owner within the year of that fish store, Fish Mania, and he is absolutely ecstatic. How is it that I have not heard of this? So I introduce you to Ethan. Ethan, this is Dena.
Hello, Ethan.
And I will be putting, let me see, I know I created a few banners here. here is her website. And I did put your name correctly, even though in the URL it goes to wpengine.com.
Yes, that's the actual server name. Um, you need to do HTTP without the S,
Without the S.
everythingaquatic.net,
Okay.
because right now it's redirecting. I haven't got the domain name set up. I got to coordinate that with another person who's actually my son-in-law, but he's been having a lot of health pancreatic issues, and so
Oh dear.
it's still being redirected right now. But eventually that will change.
And this is her YouTube channel, Everything
Mm-hmm.
Aquatic Net. And I have on the screen to share your band. Um,
Yeah, I'm on Band and Instagram and Twitter. Where else? I think that's it besides the ones you've already mentioned.
yeah.
I try to remember to post on Band, since you can sell on Band without issues like you run into with Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Facebook doesn't give me too many problems, but they're becoming Nazi police over any medication now.
Okay.
Doesn't matter that it's a fish medication, and I got tired of fighting them, so that's why I don't post as much on Facebook as I used to. But I will post on Facebook on the business page that there's a coupon or a sale or new product, that type of thing, and keep it a bit generic.
Yeah. Well, I'm sharing her website right now. And you can go to shop and she can go over some products here if you want to, Dena.
Well, the way I changed the store, the way it's set up right now is it shows the newest items that I've entered and created at first. So like the banana leaves is the last product I've created on the website. So that's your new products list basically. And then
Okay.
it just rolls into the older products. And that's the way it sorts right now, but you can obviously change the sorting on the left corner or right corner. Right now it says, yeah, right there. You can change it by price and popularity, all kinds of different
Okay.
aspects. Um,
Okay, it's on the label.
right now, all the botanicals, I put them on sale for this month since it took so long and everyone was waiting to get them in. So I just set them up where everything's on sale through the end of September.
Okay.
And I'll get better pictures. I just grabbed these pictures for the new products to have
Well,
something there.
they're perfect to me. They show me what I'm looking at.
Yeah, but like the mangrove leaves, those are live leaves in that picture. It's an actual tree that I cropped a corner out of.
Uh-huh.
But the dried leaves are kind of like a maroon red, a gold, kind of a tannish color. So they're multicolored when they're dried. They're interesting leaves. If you do a Google search for dry mangrove leaves, you'll see a couple pictures that show how colorful they become when they're dried.
Okay. I
And
want to say hi to a few people that just came in. Excuse me. I want to say hi to Al Wet Socks, Big Easy Support Group. Hey, Mark. John at J. Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics have come in. And I want to tell you all hi and introduce Dena of Everything Aquatics to you all. She's been in business, I forget how long. 10?
almost 2 years.
Uh-huh. And this is her website that we're sharing right now. She sells botanicals, breeding supplies, fish foods and flakes, pellets, wafers, um,
Rapashi,
Apache,
sponge filters.
freeze-dried.
I need to get the driftwood added to this site. I still have some old pieces of driftwood I haven't sold.
And to anyone who's doing giveaways, she also provides a gift certificate that you can purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has medicines that we can treat different illnesses and diseases. Do you want to go into that?
We can, but I see that you're only seeing the fish powders, fish medicated powders, ornamental. So you have to be logged into the new website to see all of the custom products with the medicated foods.
Okay.
And you, I know, have an account, Susan, so you could log in.
Okay.
And we can see those sections.
Let me see if I can do that right quick. If I can remember.
Well, I can't help with that.
I know it. But you can talk about the medicated.
Yeah, so the fish medications themselves, as I was saying earlier, when I was personally experiencing problems with fish disease and fish loss, I started researching to find a higher quality product, and I found a place that sells pure medication, so they're not adding fillers to it. And one thing I found over the years is that a lot of the what I call over the counter stuff that you can find at like Petco type places is it has in some cases so many fillers in it, and then they tell you to only dose it once or twice, sometimes 3 times, and you're done with the treatment, which is shortchanging the treatment as well as underdosing. And over time, especially with antibiotics, that creates resistance where the critters and the diseases don't react to the medication, and so we lose the ability to treat it, and we need stronger and stronger and stronger products in order to battle what used to be something very simple to deal with in the past.
I'm
And
listening to you. I'm having problems.
oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
But like with some of my customers that have come to me, they have like the basic parasite issues, and they've tried like the general cure, which today I'm hearing it's no longer available. I don't know if that's true or not, but they would dose it, and it says, I believe, I could be wrong here, but I think it says to dose every other day for 2 or 3 doses total. And metronidazole is supposed to be dosed daily for 2 weeks for a treatment. And praziquantel, which is the other medication, is dosed once a week, or if you do a water change during that week, you have to replace the percentage that's lost with the water change.
And here's a question from Mystery Snail Guardians for you.
Medications snail safe. There are some medications that are snail safe, but there's some that obviously are not as well. The things to completely avoid for any invertebrate is nitrofurazone. That will kill them faster than anything. Let's see here. I believe fenbendazole is an antiparasite that can affect invertebrates, but prazi and metro are safe. Most of the antibiotics, the erythromycin, doxycycline, kanamycin, those I believe are all snail safe. Now I'm doing this off the top of my head, but anytime someone asks me a question like this, I always look it up first before I respond to them to make sure I'm not faulty in my memory. I don't want to mislead someone and have them kill something and then feel horrible about that. So if someone has questions about a specific product, they can message me and I'll look it up just to make sure I'm telling you the correct information.
And that's the best way.
That's the safest way, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to unintentionally cause someone problems.
I think Mike found your Instagram for me.
Yep. That looks like
Mike. Mm-hmm. And Diego at Multiple Aquariums is here. Hey, Diego. And Aquatic Express came in. I did get logged in, I think. So I'm going to try to share this screen again. Does that look better?
Yes, you have the medicated food showing now. So you are logged in. That's the easiest way to know. Because they do not show to the public.
Yeah, I'm on a limited Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, Ethernet access, and it took it a few minutes to download. But here's some of the medicated flakes. It shows a total of 16. In the,
right. So that first product that says medicated flake 16, that's a category that has 16 individual products. Medicine cabinet, again, is a category because it shows that there's 3 products. But if you scroll down, you'll see like anti-parasite, duo, or whatever comes up. There's not a number behind it. That's the actual product.
Okay.
And with the medicated pellets, on the old side, I was only offering them with the 1 millimeter pellet because that's the most popular size. But then everybody wants smaller, larger, floating, sinking. And so with this site, if you click on one of the pellet offers, you'll get a drop down with every pellet size that I carry.
So if I click on the Duo Plus, waiting for my internet to respond.
Been working on the website to speed it up so it hopefully won't be quite so slow for people with slower internet connections. So yeah, that first drop down says pellet size.
Great. 1 millimeter up to 9.5, and then you have an organic microgranule.
Right. The organic microgranule, it's like a 550 micron, which is equivalent to a 0.5 millimeter. And I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding the 0.6 millimeter, which is a real popular product. So this organic one that ranges from 550 micron to 750 micron, which is a little bigger, a little smaller. So that's in that 0.6 realm. And that size is really popular for people with smaller fish, like guppies and endlers, the smaller tetras. I have some customers who use this as their staple food too.
Okay.
And what's cool about the organic product is there's only 5 ingredients. It was designed for an aquaponics setup, so it wouldn't pollute the system. And you could still have fish and feed them.
And this is the description of the product and additional information if you need any. Oh, I love how your menu goes to the right because my screen won't let me find my back arrow.
Uh-oh. Well, Alt and the left pointing arrow is your back arrow too.
Yeah, I can't get to it on this other monitor. So I'm glad that your menu's over there. I want to say thank you to Multiple Aquariums for the $2.77 super chat. Hello there. And welcome to the live stream. So back to the medication screen if you want to talk about anything else over here.
I don't know what there'd be. With every product, I've tried to offer it in both its powder form as well as in pellet and in flake. And the flakes, I don't have where you can choose between a veggie flake versus a carnivore flake or a mixed omnivore flake. But if someone needed a special accommodation for that, just talk to me, let me know, and then I can make a special batch for them.
Yeah, because look, you've got a levamisole.
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 The A is where the accent goes, so
levamisole. Like VAM.
There you go.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Dena? Please ask them in the chat and I will bring them up on the screen. Right now we have 5 viewing and we need to get the word out, guys, because this information is very important to the hobbyist. I know the topic tonight is, I even forgot.
The joys and the sorrows or something like that.
Yeah, here it is. The joys and the sorrows of the fish hobby. And the hobby does have some sad moments, like she expressed how she lost her expensive breeders. I've lost colonies of guppies. You know, when your money's invested in your hobby, and even in her situation, her business was affected by the breeding. You know, it can really knock you back for a little bit.
Yeah. I know I'm not done with fish and breeding. It's just I don't have the funds right now to do so. I'm doing good to get my bills paid every month right now. Things have slowed down.
Yeah,
But
and
hopefully,
you're in that area of all of that bad smoke from the fires too, aren't you?
yes, we had a rain a few days ago. They got rid of most of the smoke.
Oh,
So we're
good.
not in the hazardous level anymore, but it's still high enough that I can feel it. I'm still coughing ever so often, but not like I was. A
Bless
couple
your
of
heart.
days ago when you had messaged me, I had such a bad coughing fit that I had hurt my back, and I still feel it if I move just wrong.
Ooh. Well, I hope and pray
From
that
coughing.
inflammation. No coughing. Whew.
But yeah,
Hello, Melvin. How are you tonight? Welcome to the live stream. Is there anything else you wanted me to go over? The Rapashi foods or
the Rapashi, I carry most of their freshwater formulas. I don't carry the Igapoo because it never sold, and I had to throw out what I did have in stock because it expired. And these are the ones that do sell and are popular enough to stock. The the company that's owned by Alan Rapashi, he has designed these foods for specific needs, looking at the wild diet. So you have like the grub pie types, which is focused for live bearers mainly. In the wild, they would eat insects as a big part of their diet. So
mm,
the primary ingredients in this particular food is insects because that's their natural diet. The Community Plus is geared for a variety community, so it's got some meat, some veggie products mixed together, some more for an omnivore diet. The what is it? The Morning Wood is specifically for the wood rasping type plecos, so it has a high cellulose content to help with their gut and digestion. Bottom feeder is a good green food for veggie eaters that need some protein but not a high protein diet. And what I love about these foods is if you have really super tiny fish like fry you want to feed, you can sprinkle the powder in the fish tank.
yep,
Be careful you don't overfeed, but you can use the powder, or you can mix it with boiling water, but you do not want to boil the water with the powder in it because you'll kill the nutrients.
yep.
And you pour the boiling water over and you let it sit on the counter, and in a couple of hours it will gel and harden. You cut it up into little cubes and then store it in the fridge or freezer depending on how long you need to keep it, and then ever so often drop one in your tank. And what's great about the Rapashi, for especially with breeding fish, because I was working at the same time I was doing that and working out of the house, and I would drop a small cube in the tank, be gone for 10 hours working, come home, and that cube would be gone, but the fish were able to graze all day so they have more of a natural eating habit instead of pigging out when the food's suddenly there and then not being able to eat until next time us humans decide it's time to feed our fish.
Well, when I ran out of my algae wafers, I had to mix my Rapashi. It's one of those tasks in my fish room that is like, oh, okay, I got to boil the water, got to mix it, got to let it gel, got to cut it. But
Yeah,
the but once you get that process done, it is such a joy when you're busy, you have a busy schedule, like you said, or if you've been away all day and you can't do any intermediate feedings, they graze all day naturally.
yep.
And someone I just released a video. Uploaded one on feeding Rapashi, um, Morningwood, and Community Plus to my aquariums. And
Mm-hmm.
someone in my comments asked me which was my favorite. And neither are my favorite because they serve two different purposes. The Community
Exactly.
Plus fed everyone in my multiple tanks, from the
Mm-hmm.
live breeder to the egg layer. But that morning wood, those
The plex.
plecos need, and they will
Yep.
ignore the Community Plus and dive onto that morning wood and pretty much fight anybody off until
Yes.
they're finished.
I had a breeding pair of plecos at one point that when I would drop in the morning wood food, they were so busy fighting everybody else off, they never actually got to eat it. They were too busy going to war. And it was so funny to watch because they'd come up and they'd sit on top of it, and then they were watching for the next person or next fish that was going to come attack. Instead of eating it, they were guarding it. And then they swim away, and someone would come in from behind and start nibbling on it. It was hilarious to watch their reaction.
It is. It really is. And I haven't tried any of the other products. The grub pie sounds very interesting to me, as well as the bottom scratcher. Now, would the bottom scratcher also have wood fibers in it?
It has some, but it's more of a general bottom feeder as opposed to specifically cellulose for the wood rasper types, which is the morning wood one. Um, the bottom feeder, I would consider it more of an omnivore leaning towards the veggie side of the food diet. And that one, my shrimp loved it. The Corys loved it. At one point, I had cribs that were breeding like gangbusters. They just attacked that stuff, even though cribs are supposed to be more of a carnivore type fish.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing when you drop in the food, you give them the variety that their diet requires, and then they go to the one food that you would least expect them to be after, and that's the one they decide to eat, which just floors me. That's one thing that's nice about the mixes. So like the let's see what's one. The gourmet cichlid or the guppy flake mix has 5 different flakes in it. 3 of them are meat based. I think. Let's see here. It is brine shrimp or artemia, and I'm drawing a blank now. Nightcrawler. I forget what the third one is. And the 2 veggie ones are a complete veggie flake and a garlic flake. And the veggie flake, what I loved about it is the fact that it has 13 actual garden vegetables that we would eat ourselves with our meals. So it's not just junk food, it's actual garden vegetables ground up and mixed together and put into these flakes.
Another thing about your food products, they don't have preservatives in them, correct?
For the most part, that is correct. There's no chemical preservatives, but some of the flakes have what's considered a natural preservative. And in those cases, I try to list on the labels that it has some preservative or no preservative. I try to make that clear on the labels.
Okay. I wanted to repeat the question that Diego asked, even though you had answered it already.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to know if you were going to be selling fish in the future, and right now your finances don't allow it.
I
Or
certainly hope so in the future because it is something I really do miss. I had to stop breeding fish when I lost everything, of course, but I wanted to get right back into it. But my business was taking off then. So I had to decide, did I want to breed fish or did I want to grow the business? So I decided to stick with the business. And then I figured, well, as when things level off or I get to the point where I can start hiring people to help with the workload, then I can get back into fish. And now, instead of the business growing, that went the wrong way and it shrunk. And I have time now, but I don't have the finances. So I'm still waiting. But at some point in the future, I certainly do hope so. I have not sold a single tank. They're all in storage. I may have to go through and massively reseal every one of them. The only tanks that are running right now, let's see, what do I have at home? I have 1 angelfish. I have 3 silver dollar fish. And I have a handful of red snakeskin guppies that are so inbred they're not really useful for anything. And my Endler tank, I'm down to the last Endler. They're dying out.
it happens. I've had some of those Santa Maria endlers, and it looked like the colony was taking off. Then all of a sudden, the tank crashed, and I'm like, "What in the world?" And I lost
Yeah,
it.
if you don't constantly add new genetics from unrelated fish, eventually they get so inbred, they just become so weak they don't survive, and they're really hard to keep. And that's what I'm running into, because I've had the red snakeskin guppies. I think I've had those for a good 7-8 years now, and I've only added genetically to them. It's probably been a good 5 years, so they are definitely way too inbred to be useful.
Yeah.
But
Those mutt guppies that I have bred out most of their color to where the caudal fins are just the black mosaic, but their
mm-hmm.
bodies are still showing yellow green and a metallic head. And the other day, I pulled some fish and actually starting getting some red in the caudal fin again. And I was like, wow, where did that come from? It had to come
Yeah.
from a source that was mixed into it. So,
That or genetic mutation. That's how we get all our color variations to begin with.
yeah. So I'm watching that little juvenile, see what he's doing. His
Mm-hmm. I would
body,
too.
yeah, his little body is shorter than I like. I like the longer, fancy,
Mm-hmm.
flowing fins. But when you got mosaic in the mix, that shortens and fattens the body. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I don't see any questions from anyone. John, do you have any questions for Dena? John is really building his fish room. He's been receiving imports, I think, from Thailand and overseas. And he put up a video on YouTube today of all of his available strains. And he has some beautiful guppies. And then he went into some of his cichlids. I'm not real familiar with cichlids, so I'm not going to try to call any names. I'm going to say hi to Ed's picking up cichlids. Hey, Ed, you must be home from work or you must be lurking while you're working. He is starting up activity on his YouTube channel again. And soon, I think Saturday, he's going to do his first live stream. And he has an open forum. He works in a fish store with over 180 tanks. He has, I believe, 40 tanks at home. He's active. He says he eats, sleeps, and breathes fish. So any
Yep.
questions that you have, you can bring it to him on his live stream. Um, I see Melvin's girlfriend Wing came in. Hello, Wing. So, is there any other product that you really want to discuss that will help bring in some finances for you and some orders?
Not sure what it would be. As I said at the start, the foods and the products that are offered are foods that I've sourced out for personal reasons. The food itself was because I had bought big packages of flake food, and by the time I got even a fourth of the way through the bag, the rest of it was all powder and useless for anything but fry food. And so I felt like I was wasting money buying that particular brand. So then I tried different brands and didn't find anything I liked. And then I got hooked up with this manufacturer I use, and I'm in love with their flakes. The meat-based flakes are thick and
Um,
sturdy flakes, and
yeah,
you
those
can.
what was it? The earthworm flakes that I ordered
That's
one
one of
time.
them. Yes,
Oh yeah, this
the
product,
Artemia. Yeah, the
the
Artemia.
products.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The Artemia flake is another one that's super thick. The garlic flake is also thick, um, surprisingly. And what I love when I get these big, huge boxes of flake and you open up the bag, the Artemia, I smell like I'm standing on the coastline at the beach, because you get that salt, briny smell from the Artemia.
Oh
And the
wow.
garlic, when you open it up, you get hit with this waft of garlic with these fresh flakes. And I love the fact that there's not a bunch of chemical garbage in them, and they're made from, for lack of a better term, natural ingredients. And so you get that huge hit of garlic with the fresh flake. You get that huge hit of salt water, brininess from the Artemia flake, and you get that earthy smell from the earthworm, nightcrawler one. The spirulina is another one that when it's very freshly made, it smells like the sea to me.
And the purpose of a garlic flake, I believe, is for picky eaters, isn't it?
It helps with picky eaters. It also, garlic itself is a natural health benefit, even for humans. The garlic is said to have immune booster properties, that it has antibiotic and anti-parasite properties. It's not a medication. It's called properties, not an actual treatment or medication. And I've heard a lot of people say, never feed garlic to your fish. It will burn their gut. It'll this, it'll that. I, honest to God, have taken a fresh clove of garlic, run it through a garlic press straight into the tank. Boom, there you go. And they attack it like it's live worms or something wiggling around. It's amazing.
Yep.
And another food that really, really surprised me was tangerine. Tangerines make a huge mess. So I always did it the day before I knew I was going to do a water change. But I would take the slices of tangerine and pop the seeds out, because obviously those aren't edible. And then I would drop them in so one would float. I would stab a fork through it to sink it to the bottom. And all of the fish went absolutely nuts over tangerine. I was shocked.
I wouldn't have even thought about it.
Excuse me.
John,
but yeah, I was shocked over that.
Yeah, John Oliver said he did an Everything Aquatic unboxing video a year ago, so we can look that up on his website. And of course, they're asking for your website again. So somebody put it up. I'm sorry, I get distracted. Yep. Mike put it up. Mike's helping out tonight. And I want to say,
if anybody wants to shop for the specialty foods, like the medicated foods, you need to have an account. You need to be logged in, and I need to give you permissions to see them, because they're not normally public facing. And if you just message me through some means, you can contact me on my website. I even have a Facebook live chat window that pops up that hits my phone through Facebook Messenger. Or you can email me through the site, Facebook, or any of the other sites, and let me know what email you use to create your account so I can quickly find it, and then I'll get those permissions added.
Okay. My screen's too big. Calypso's Reef is in the house. Hey, Calypso, how are you doing? So, you said the sales that are going on right now are to the end of September?
Through the end of September, correct.
Okay.
And then if you're in one of the Facebook groups that I have a coupon for, you could add it to get an additional discount on products.
Okay. You have a contact form on your website that they can contact you there.
Yep. There's a contact form, and there's also a chat box that pops up ever so often that I've had a lot of customers say, hey, I'm looking for this product. I can't find it. Do you have it? Or whatnot. Or customers. Another question I get from a lot of people is products are starting to show as back ordered, because I've been focusing on getting stuff added to the new website and not keeping up on inventory. So some of it shows as being back ordered. Just ignore that. Because if it's not already packaged, we'll get it made that night and packaged the next day, so your order will still ship out within a day or two. And if that's not the case, then I would contact to let you know, give you a heads up. I need a little extra time.
Yeah, right now, since it's such a new website, if there's any question about anything, contact her and she'll be glad to answer your questions.
Or if anything looks wrong. I mean, I had a customer this morning contact me. They were looking for the immune booster flake, and
Uh-huh.
it wouldn't. They clicked the link to go to that page where they could look at the listing and the pricing, and it wouldn't even load. They just got a plain old white sheet. So I have to look at that and see what's going on with that.
Okay. John says to make sure you keep sharing your website information on his Facebook and band groups. He loves your products and how you handle your business.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
John.
Yeah. John, I'm trying to get him as a special guest on one of my Thursday evenings, so y'all be looking out for the upcoming live streams with John. Um, I want to get Ed too, but Ed right now is working so hard they had to let a couple employees go, and I'm sure Dena understands that, and she's sacrificing her time to be here with me tonight, and I really, really appreciate it. She's a busy lady and she has a lot of hobbies and as well as her business.
Yeah, but with the smoke, I can't physically do a lot because I've got asthma as well. And so there were some days I was doing good to sit in a chair and breathe, and that was all I could manage. And so I got so bored, so I started painting again, which is something I haven't done since I was in my 20s. I've gotten into knitting really heavily, where I've been teaching myself how to knit socks. And I made a pair of socks that I just finished last night, in fact, that will
Did you?
actually fit on my feet. They're tight and snug. They need adjusting, but I can wear the darn things.
Yay.
So I have to find things to keep busy along that regard. Looking forward to when all these fires get out and our rainy season starts.
Yes. Jess from Maine's Tails Fur and Fins came in and she wants me to email her your info for the Aquatic Morning show. That's Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I believe it's 9 o'clock Eastern. No, Central. Jess, help me out. Um, I think I catch her at 9 o'clock Central, so it's 10. It's a 2 hour show. Yeah.
So if it's 9 o'clock Central, that's 7 o'clock my time because I'm West Coast. I'm in Oregon.
Yes, she's gonna be maybe just getting up and putting coffee on. I don't know. Are you an early riser?
Depends on the night. I've got two cats that sometimes they think sleeping is overrated. They constantly wake me up. And on those nights, I do try to sleep in because I'm so tired and cranky in the morning. And then other nights, I'll wake up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning on my own. So it really depends on how my cats behave.
Thanks, Jess. Jess knows how I feel because we know this information. We just get, I call it a brain fart. It won't go anywhere. It's an air bubble and it won't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So what's the name of your kitties? Because we're kitty lovers.
I have two kittens. They're feral rescues from my backyard from a litter. We caught the two. I have one male and one female. The male, his name is Bugs or Bugsy. When I get mad at him, it's Bubba. And the female cat, I call her Sissy most of the time. Missy, Sissy, kind of her name. She is still really feral. She will not let me hold her. She will tolerate sitting across the room from me. And if she wants outside, she has no problem becoming vocal. But as soon as I open the door, she's out and gone and doing whatever it is she does outside. But they're both fixed, so I don't have to worry about them wandering outside. And Bugs, he is just this huge fur ball. His fur is like 3-4 inches long.
Oh, wow.
And there's a neighbor cat that they fight all the time. And the other day, the neighbor cat tried to come inside my house, and Bubba puffed up like this great big huge fur ball. He looked like he was a basketball. He was so big with that long fur puffed out. I just cracked me up. I just started laughing at him.
Oh my goodness.
I would call him a domestic cat at this point. He loves to play, cuddle time, but on his terms, of course.
That is awesome. Have you ever owned any birds or any other pets?
I've had parakeets. I've had I had aquatic frog tank at one point. Let's see here, what else? I've had gerbils and hamsters and those types of animals. Dogs and cats, of course. I think that's about it. And then all the fish, of course, over the years.
I always was attracted to your angels. I forget what kind they were. Were they the blue angels?
I've started out mainly with the blue angels, and then when that new gene came out from Romania, I think it was the Bulgarian seal point, so the Bulgarian green gene.
Yeah.
That's the angels that I had that I was breeding that I lost, that I got so disgusted over because they were irreplaceable. At that point, there was no such thing as a seal point in the United States. And so I was breeding them, working with them, doing documentation for the Angelfish Society. And I have this problem with my water. I have Pacific Northwest has like everyone's dream of water, super, super soft water, low pH. But we also, because of the volcanic activity, we also, at least for my area, I have radioactive radon. It decomposes into lead by the time it gets stable. And I did a water change and wasn't aware that the water had changed chemically. And my simple water change of the fish room got up next morning, 100% everything was dead. That's how disgusting I was. I had 6 tanks of the Bulgarian green types that I was breeding and outbreeding and inbreeding and working to work out all the different variables. And all of it was gone. I was totally disgusted.
Oh yeah. That can knock the wind out from under your wings, as we say.
Yep. And Mike here's asked a question if I've had reptiles. Sadly, no, because I have a fear of snakes. And so I can't even. The other day, my cats brought in about an 8-inch garter snake they caught out of the backyard. I about freaked out. I was home alone, so I had to deal with it myself. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm about ready to have a panic attack over this poor little snake. But I don't know why I have this fear. I just do. So I know those are not the type of animals for me.
Right.
If they're behind a glass plate and in someone's tank with a tight lid on it, I can sit and look at them, but don't get me near it.
I told Mike I cannot watch him doing the feeding for his snake that he has. I forget what kind it is, but I said it's not for me.
Yeah.
If I see you.
Sorry. I was going to say, speaking of reptiles, there's one new product that I have, which is called ProBugs. I've had it for a few months now. It's mainly known in the reptile circles. And what it is they take the larvae from like the black fly that their larvae we know as bloodworm. And they take those worms and they process them in a way they're not dehydrated. I don't quite understand, but they're in these little pouches. They're packaged with some liquid, and that pouch can sit on a shelf for something like 18 months and still be viable.
Wow.
So it's great to have on hand if you need a quick fix. And I grabbed the 4 smaller sizes of the food size. And the rice worms are the smallest one. And those could be fed to larger guppies, angelfish, discus, different types of fish that would like that type of food. It could be used as a treat or as a diet if that particular species needed the higher protein.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's great that we have these products that are shelf stable, and you don't have to worry about having a tank to grow out all these different types of worms and whatnot. And the downside of it, if you can call it that, these packages are not huge, but for fish, that's quite a bit of food in one of those packages. And once it's opened, you have to use it up in a week's time before it goes bad, and keep it in the fridge at that point once open. But I think it's great that they will be shelf stable, so you could have that as an emergency backup food, or even as a treat food. Ever so often you open up a bag and here's their treat. You might get it for 2 or 3 days till it's gone, but then that gives you more variety in their diet. And this particular company, which is what made me think of it, they're working on doing the same thing with pinkies. So the little miniature mice that are used for a lot of reptiles, so that people don't have to go out and buy live mice or have mice that they intentionally breed to have these babies to feed to their reptiles. And I can't imagine having those things on a shelf for 18 months, but there you go. It's possible. And they're finalizing it. And that's one of their products they're working on in development right now.
Okay. Well, Dena, I want to thank you so much for being my special guest tonight. If there's no more questions in chat, I haven't seen any. If I have, please repeat it at this time. We're closing out because of the hour, and I'm not sure if Diego is going to stream after me. So if you are, you can put the link in the chat. And you've been such a blessing to me, Dena. And I'm glad that many people are getting to know you. And I'm hoping that they will help support you during these down times, since this COVID has been such a struggle for the hobbyist businessman and businesswoman. And I hope that they understand why I have a resource page on my website, slc-aquatics-store. I have a resource page, and I count you as one of my sponsors, even though I don't have paid sponsors. You and a few others are very important to me, and I want to share your business as well as your livelihoods, your hobbies out with the Fish Fam community. And again, thank you so much, Dena, for being my special guest tonight.
You're more than welcome, and thank you for all your efforts to help spread the word about my business and things I'm trying to accomplish here.
Looks like Joe Shrimp Shack's going live. Thank you, Lori, Monster Fish Gal. Thanks for the mods. And again, thank you all for joining me. And Diego at Multiple Aquariums, thank you for that super chat. And I want to thank everyone for being with us, and look for me Thursday night at I believe it's 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. Right now I don't have a scheduled guest, so we might end up doing what we did the last time, pop-ups for 15 minutes. You got to tell me everything about your channel, your hobby in 15 minutes, and then I boot you out of the queue, out of the back green room, whatever they call it. But anyway, we can have some fun if I don't get someone scheduled. But y'all take care. Dena, take care. Hope things improve there for you soon. And this is Susan for SLC Aquatics, #FishFamMom, touching lives one fish at a time. Love you.